Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I appreciate the witnesses coming in. Mr. Walls, I appreciate your passion and I appreciate your leadership on this bill as well. I want to kind of run through some of the thought processes of what's included and maybe what's not included in the legislation. I know we have a $1,000 trigger for the reporting. Is that $1,000 per trade, or is that a threshold amount? So if I do, you know, two $950 trades, I'll obviously be over a thousand and then have to report. Or could I trade Apple stock, $950 trades, you know, multiple in a day, and I don't have to report?
Is that correct? It's per trade.
So per trade. So I could actually,
yes,
I could trade $50,000 in a stock if I keep every trade under $950. Is that right?
Theoretically, is that correct?
Okay. And that's one of my concerns. I think it's, I mean, again, I commend you. I think this is, I think the leadership here is fantastic.
This kind of goes back to our reporting requirements of those zones,
right,
which are silly, but we do them, I think, for ease. Again, so your argument, I think, is well put.
And I think, I mean, to the point here, I think the American people want sunshine. I mean, sunlight disinfects, and I think we should let that light shine into every corner. And I look at, and I appreciate your willingness to say, you know what, it may not be perfect. You know, I'm open to suggestions for improvement. That's one. Is there a reason why we picked $1,000 and not, if you trade anything, you have to report it?
I think it was the same reason we do the zones on the reporting requirements is the ease. Some of the things Mr. Manzula is talking about, the paperwork on this. We understand this. If we went to the pure 48 hours that CEOs on Wall Street have to abide by on their trades, the problem we have is we simply don't have the staff to handle that. So part of that is just that was the threshold level. From a theoretical argument, I'm certainly with you. One should be the number.
Yeah, we might be excluding ourselves in the amount of trades that you and I make, but others in the House might be making larger.
No, I think it makes sense. So.
And I noticed you didn't include a blind trust aspect, and in the bill that I drafted, I included a blind trust. Is there a reason? I mean, if you really want to take it out of the hands of members, and members want to protect themselves, they can take their assets and put it in a blind trust. Is there a reason why you didn't?
Well, one of the things I'll stress again, this was the bare minimum. It took us 6 years to get 7 people, and it was as easy as it could possibly be. If we'd have gone to that level, I think we'd have probably got the same 7, but we tried to pass this before it became an issue. We tried to pass it and bring it to the committee where it was palatable, like most legislation is, leaving openings for improvement from the committee. I'm certainly for it. I think you have to be careful that I don't want to incur a fee on a blind trust because I don't need one.
And that's why I include an option. You can use a blind trust,
then I think that's what this committee should do.
And I think if you know, if we're going to do it, I think we should do it the right way. And I think there's a movement in the House. There's a lot of ideas that permeate throughout these buildings that don't come up for years. But when there's a movement to move a bill, I think we should get the best bill possible. And my fear is that one, it sounds good and it feels good, but I think the American people, if it doesn't actually accomplish the goal, they look back a couple of years from now and go, man, people are still getting around the Great Stock Act because it didn't have enough.
Well, I think it would work, but I do think the Stock Act would work. I think we've thought this, it wasn't crafted overnight, and it was a lot of conversations, been around for 6 years, but I'm certainly willing to improve it.
And I would throw, yeah, I mean, I know we have a 90-day time period. I mean, listen, if things move quickly, I mean, in my bill, I threw a 3-day time period. Why can't a member, if you're going to trade stock, within 3 days, report it to the House? In 3 days, say, this is the trade I've made. So if there's big news and you're trading against the big news, it's in the Wall Street Journal, and you're going in a different direction, it's like, well, were you meeting with someone? They gave you insider information? I mean, I think that kind of transparency.
Well, you're preaching to the choir with me, but you might have to ask other members what they think of that one.
And quickly, my concern, too, is we have the House and the Senate. I mean, the President, I know oftentimes has a blind trust, but I don't think he's required. But also his staff comes in to insider information as well, just like our staff. Why isn't the executive branch included in this bill? And then the judiciary as well. I mean, we should include the judiciary and their senior staff as well if we're going to do this in government.
Duffy, they already have their rules.
Yes.
They do?
Yes.
And judiciary as well?
Yes.
And is it consistent with what you proposed, the 90-day disclosure rule, blind trust rule?
Mr. Duffy, if I could very
Yes, Mr.
quickly
Johnson.
interrupt, and I'll be very quick, Mr. Chairman. This is why this hearing today just shows exactly why we have an opportunity, and I appreciate your bill going in and your resolution going in, and if nothing else comes from this but meaningful legislation that the Congresses of next year and the year after that, they know what is right and what is wrong, then the American people will win. So thank you for what you're doing and you're doing as well, and let's come together and make this something that we can all join hands and be proud of, because the American people can see we care about integrity in the Congress. So thank you for what you're trying to do.
And Mr. Walls, I appreciate your openness to try to find ideas that are going to work, but I would say let's do the right thing. There's a movement right now to get it done. Let's do the best bill possible.
We're
So I would,
certainly feeling stronger, 170 stronger than we were last week, so we're ready.
I yield back the time we don't have.
Thank you.